guys, it's Sydney, back with another bullet journal video of my series. The first video that I did, I kind of just wanted to chat about bullet journaling, and it was more of a video to kind of put your mind at ease if you're nervous about starting a bullet journal, because it is intimidating, and I totally get that. So in that video, I kind of showed you my journey of bullet journaling and what my first journal looked like and what it looks like now. If you're nervous about starting a bullet journal, that is totally okay. I've been there. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you a very simple setup to begin your first bullet journal. And then from there, you can start to make it your own, choose your own colors, make your own layouts, or go off of other layouts that you find on Pinterest or on YouTube, whatever you like. I will also be having links below of the products that I'm using, like the notebooks, the pens, the highlighters, things like that. By no means is that what you have to buy. I'm just gonna link them below so that you can check them out if you want to get the ones that I'm using. But yeah, so let's get started. So here I just have a medium-sized classic black Moleskine journal. There are a bunch of different types of journals. There are some that are dotted, some that are lined, blank, or grid style. I like the dotted, but it is all personal preference. So go ahead and open up to the very first page of your new bullet journal, and we are going to make what's called a legend. This legend will keep track of all the different icons that you create for quick reference throughout your pages. I'm going to show you a bunch of different ideas of things that you can do, but feel free to add or edit. A forwarded task would be something that you wanted to get done, but you didn't have time for, so you're moving it to the next day, week, month, whatever it may be. A good rule of thumb for a forwarded task is to not allow yourself to forward it more than 3 times, just to try to keep up productivity. Next is the index, so open up to your next 2 blank pages. An index is essentially just a table of contents. It's an easy, condensed way for you to keep track of what you have on what pages throughout your whole bullet journal. Feel free to improvise and do whatever you would like to do for your pages, but for mine, I'm going to make 2 large boxes on each page with 2 separate columns. One for the page numbers and one for the content associated with those page numbers. Looking back, I should have done page 1 is the legend and 2 to 3 is the index, but it is what it is. The next spread that we do will be something called a future log. This is a nice overview of what you have coming up in the next coming months, weeks, or the whole year, depending on how far you personally want to plan. For my spread, I'm going to do 6 months, 3 on each page. I'm making these little calendars to represent each month. They are 6 boxes high and 7 boxes long. If you're a perfectionist, you can do it in pencil first to avoid mistakes, but I'm just kind of going for it. I'm using different thicknesses on my pens while doing the numbering inside the calendars just so that it looks a little bit more neat. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, this spread will probably take you the longest. So with this kind of spread, if you have something to do on a certain day, you can put a dot on it or highlight it on the calendar, and right next to it is that open space that you can give details of what you have to do on that specific day. So the next page after your future log will be your monthly log. This is so that you can plan out the month that you're currently in a little bit more in depth. I'm using the spread that I used for my very first bullet journal. I think that it's pretty minimal and it's a good starting point. When you're writing the numbers down vertically, go ahead and leave a margin between the numbers and the edge of the page. I also like to put the first letter of the day next to the number on the right, just so I know what day is what. I like this spread because you can use the margin to put your icons from your legend in so that you have a quick glance of what you have going on that month. I'm a pretty goal-oriented person, so I like to keep track of monthly goals that I can come back to and see if I accomplished them. Alright, so we made it to our last spread. These 2 pages will be your weekly log. In the top left corner, I will draw a little calendar like I did for the future log, just so I can see where this week falls in the month. Feel free to use this top space for weekly quote or something like that, but I am going to use mine for weekly goals of what I want to get done. I'm splitting up the pages so that I have 7 designated spots for each day of the week. In this extra space at the bottom, I'm gonna make a weekly tracker so that I can track habits and my mood throughout the week. The next video in my bullet journal series will be purely on trackers and weekly spreads. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. In the lower left-hand corner, I'm going to make a box to jot down what's happening next week. Thanks so much for watching. In my next video in the series, I hope to do the topic of weekly trackers and layouts. It's predominantly going to be a bunch of different weekly spreads so that you guys can grab some ideas off of it, and how to kind of set up new trackers, different types of trackers, ideas for what you want to track, just things like that. So don't forget to subscribe and comment if you have any questions, or if you want to see anything in particular from me, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video. I appreciate any support you have for me, and yeah, happy journaling.